This is the most important, one of the most important parts of this course is understanding the wording, understanding the intentions behind behind your rituals that you do to communicate with your ancestors and spirit guides. You always want to call in the highest and most benevolent spirit guides and ancestors in your spiritual court. So everyone is born with a spiritual court, with a kind of fleet of spirits that are there to help them. Sometimes these spirits are temporary. Sometimes, sometimes they might be working with you for a season. They might be working with you for a lifetime. There's all kinds of spirits, and ancestors and spirit guides that work with you, but you want to be focusing in on the highest and most benevolent spirit guides possible. Um, Take me a drink of water real quick. But you definitely want to, whenever you are doing your ritual, like I said, focus in on the highest and most benevolent spirit guides and ancestors. Um, and that is also the best way to make sure that you're working with the highest vibrational energy. I cannot stress that enough. All right, so let's look at the next slide. So this is caution. Sometimes, like, you definitely want to watch what ancestors you're working with. Like, if you had an ancestor who was a murderer, I don't know that I would put them on my ancestor altar. No tea, no shade, but that is something where you might want to think a little bit. Someone who died very traumatically in a state of absolute terror, you might want to reconsider putting them on your ancestor altar. Not saying that they are bad people, but it's if you are trying to attune yourself to the highest and most benevolent energies, then you want to make sure that you are either through your words calling in that energy, or that you have someone on your ancestor altar, like, maybe if you have a grandmother who died from old age, but that was really looked out for you, in your life, then yeah, of course you could put them on your altar. And I mean, also, you know criminality is a social construction in some ways, but I think I'm just going to let you use your discernment. I'm not trying to tell you which way to go, but you definitely do want to not really. I always caution against that, because sometimes you don't really know the temperament of some spirits if they have died extremely traumatically. I'm going to leave that to your discretion, but I definitely wanted to just mention that fact. Okay, so let's look at types of spirit guides. These are types of spirit guides. These do not necessarily have to do with nature. So we have guardian angels. Guardian angels, these are yours exclusively. We each have more than one of these. They are the ones that are dedicated to you for your entire life. Um, they love you. You can call on them for assistance anytime, immediately. You know how sometimes stuff you just want something to manifest, and it's really in alignment with the needs of yourself, along with your needing to fulfill the will of spirit. Then sometimes shit just line up. You know what I mean? They love you unconditionally. They are non denominational and work with people of all faiths and spiritual beliefs. So you could have spirit guides that bring you together with people from completely different faith systems. So that's why it's important to remain open to everybody's form of ancestor veneration, everybody's form of spirituality, because just because you don't practice it does not mean that the fact that y'all are in proximity, that it ain't nothing that you can't benefit from it. You know what I mean? So we respect all traditions. I practice E5, but I have a lot of friends in Vodou. I have friends in other spiritual traditions because it's important that we know how to coexist because that's how our guardians are. You might be have grown up Christian, meet somebody who's Muslim, and then they open you up to a completely new way of thinking, not by converting you to Islam, but just telling you their way of life, and then you just take that in. I'm a very disciplinary, interdisciplinary kind of person. So your guardian angels, they're not always going to be associated with a religion, which is a beautiful thing in a lot of ways. Okay, so ascendant masters, these are typically like Buddha. I think I have a picture of Buddha on here. Whoops, sorry. Um, we'll stick to this. I have a Buddha statue, actually. You can definitely, that is really good for putting on your altar. Ascendant masters, these do not have boundaries as far as who can work with them. It doesn't really matter what your culture is. So this is like Buddha, like Jesus, you know what I mean? Um, Mother Mary is also a big one. I'm just naming the ones that I work with personally. You might be able to think of others. So yeah, they are individuals who have lived on earth and who became extremely well known, and because they did some shit that really fundamentally challenged the current spiritual institution. You know what I mean? Jesus's archetype is that of a revolutionary, is that of a leader that was willing to understand a lot of different people's lifestyles, like a lot of people, well, not, I don't want to say lifestyle, a lot to understand a lot of people's experience, if I might say that. So types of spirit guides. Also, we have our departed loved ones. These are our ancestors. So, um, these are family members or loved ones who have passed on. Um, and they might choose in the afterlife to be active guides for you. So this could be someone that you had like an extra special bond with when they were alive. Specifically, a lot of people think about their grandparents. Because we have family, we are always family, no matter from this side or the next. You know what I mean? I can definitely give a testament to just a lot of different coincidences that I've had happen in my life and that let me know that I know my grandma is like watching down on me. So, um, departed loved ones, as I mentioned, if you have a departed loved one that you really cared about, that really looked out for you when you were younger, maybe put their picture on the ancestor altar, offer up some high praise for them. Um, pray for them, pray for their well-being. Anytime that you're doing ancestor prayers, if you don't have like, so I like to use the Bible, but if you don't use the Bible, just always pray for their upliftment. Pray that they are okay. Pray that spirit blesses them. Um, to ascend. Pray that spirit walks with you and helps heal the family, helps heal you, helps heal everyone you touch, helps you radiate love, all that kind of stuff. I'm going in. Okay, so we also have helper angels. So helper angels are like freelance angels, so to speak, and they basically just help people in specific situations. They might be temporary, you know what I mean? Um, they might not always be around, but they might just be there specifically to help you in a specific situation, if that makes sense. Um, so let's continue moving on here.